All right, we're back with intro music. Thank God. All right, JuddzBudz Budz, episode 119. As always, your host, Folksy, joined by my good buddy, Mr. At State of Hoppy. Hoppy, how are we?
Final grind. Got just under 24 hours. Exactly 23 hours until things happen.
Yeah, it's gonna get dark quick.
Very dark.
We're doing this the same time as the award show, so I would imagine we're gonna get pretty similar viewership. I guess
I don't know, dude. The award show doesn't really draw that much of a crowd.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So we might be ahead.
Gotcha.
We got 68 bots in here, so like we might be winning. I mean, do we just get right into that? Connor Bedard wins the Calder. I just saw the voting, not that close either.
Really?
Crazy to me. I mean, like at least Faber got a good amount.
What are the votes?
I'm gonna pull it up.
That is kind of surprising.
Yeah.
Like, just give me the first versus second.
Yeah, I'm trying to find. Why isn't that working? Why would it work? That'd be crazy if that worked. Come on. All right, so I'm just not going to find it, apparently.
Whoa. Tangerine high noons are gnarly.
What are they?
Tangerine. I've not had that one. It's pretty gnarly.
Okay, there we go. Bedard, this is just right from Russo. Bedard edged Faber 1,808 voting points to 1,464. Faber got 42 first place votes and 146 second place votes. Bedard got 152 first place votes. So, like,
yeah, people will take that well.
Marco Rossi finishes sixth in
that's gross.
Whatever.
Of course, he had to be one outside the top five.
Yeah. Again, I mean, we don't have to spend more than 2 seconds on this.
No, not really.
Even though we already did. Get it, but at the same time, just, I figured it'd be at least a little bit closer than that. I mean, usually it's actually not that close anyways, but
this one felt really split though. Everyone was like super angry on either side. That's why I thought it might be a little bit closer.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it is what I really don't care. It's like awards are almost as dumb as the award shows. Did we lose Z or me? This is awesome. I'm going to assume we lost Z until I hear any different. Well, this is fun. Oh, yep, Z dead. That's okay. Had a couple of notes to go over per Isha. First, anyone that's listening live right now, tomorrow night, we have our 5th annual NHL Draft show. In past years, it's gone like 5 or 6 hours. We'll be on 30 minutes before ESPN coverage starts, 5:30 Central. And anyone that's listening to this upon podcast drop, that is tonight, Friday, the 28th at 5:30 Central. We will take you through the entire first round. We will come equipped with highlight reels. We will have, of course, Z's infinite wisdom and analysis on these different prospects being taken. And we will have several guests throughout. We've got Seth Topol, Brett Marshall, Alex Micheletti, let's see, Mateo, Baki, all joining live with Isha in the basement. It's going to be a little ridiculous. I'm sure there will be zero drinking involved there. We've got the 10K boys actually joining us live from the golf course right around the Minnesota Wild selection, and we will be sucking down some delightful 10K Takes beers. That's right. They have a new beer that everyone should check out, Elm Creek Brewing. And yeah, Flyover check. This is very fair. Infinite wisdom is a stretch for Z. We think he's back. Oh my goodness.
That was bad. That was a bad one. everything was working except StreamYard. So I was like, God,
sure. Yeah. That seems plausible. Anyways, be sure to check out the stream. And Isha also said to thank a couple specific individuals. Let's see. We have Vendetta, Philippe Defroy, and Sean Cosgrove for being the first members of the Sota Pod channel. Supposed to let you all know that there will be members only content coming. I know nothing about that, full transparency, because Isha told me like 20 minutes before this started, but there will be more to come on that. So again, thank you guys so much. But anyone that is just a subscriber here and tuning in, again, please show up in full droves for the draft show Friday night. Shit's going to get real interesting. And now Z's back. So wherever you were at, sir.
I literally just like sitting there getting the loading things of death, the rings. So that was fun.
That sounds very fun.
It was great. The first 10 seconds, I was still there. I could hear you.
Oh.
But like nothing was working. And then it just like shut down. Basically, the message came up. It's like StreamYard is irrevocably shattered and broken. You're going to die. And I was like, oh, that's actually kind of nice. Yeah, anyways, we're back. Where do we want to go? I don't know what the fuck you've been talking about for the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, I just had to fill time while you were gone. I'm going to just pause because I've talked about this on several shows now. Just need to get your thoughts. Stanley Cup final, Game 7, across the board. Anything in particular you want to lead with, or do I need to ask you questions?
Well, the first thing I need to say, it almost happened. What did I say? It's just like, it's unbelievable. We shouldn't do this. Like, I should stop podcasting. I should stop watching hockey, talking about how, like, it's actually unbelievable. Like, I am such a fucking loser. Like, it's insane to me. Like, the second I say something, literally the exact opposite happens. And it was like, what was it? After 4 games that we did, what was the, like a week ago? How many games had happened? 4 or 5? I don't remember. But I was like, yeah, no, it's done. It's over. And Edmonton proceeded to kick the ever-living dog shit out of them for 3 straight games. Like, those were murders. And heading into Game 7, I literally was just like, I give up. Like, I know it's going to happen. And, like, I honestly thought it was going to happen again. But, first of all, I wish it didn't go 3-0, then 3-3, and then Game 7. Like, I wish it was, like, a little bit back and forth. But that Game 7, for a low-scoring game, was fucking unbelievable. That was a great hockey game. The longest season in NHL history, that's how you would want it to go out. I don't know how they did it for this season, again, longest in NHL history. Like, the fact that they could even like put skates on to me is insane. Like, I was just thinking back to day 1 of the fucking season when Sidney Crosby owned Bedard, ruthlessly snapping the puck back. Day 1 of the NHL season. And then, like, I can't believe that was this year. I was convinced that was 2 years ago. But either way, crazy.
That's what you go back to, though. Like, I had actually all but forgotten about that. And it is like the one thing that you like led the year off with, like, yes, this is my thing. And that is somehow within the same season, and it makes no sense to me.
Either way, though, they got it done. Florida. I mean, is Florida the state of hockey now? No, I won't. I'll stop. Not here.
If you ask anyone on Twitter, probably like.
Well, they've been to the last. I think a team from Florida has been to the last like 5 or 6 Eastern Conference Finals. It's Florida or
finals or Stanley Cup Finals.
Eastern Conference Finals.
Then it's probably. Wait, did Tampa make a conference final but not make it to the Cup final? I think it's just a 5-year streak, isn't it?
Whatever it is. Yeah. Either way.
Florida, Tampa. Because the year before that would have been. Oh, yeah. That would have been. Who did the Bruins beat to go to the Cup final?
Carolina.
So, no. 5-year stretch then.
Right. Crazy. But, I mean, again, just insane to me that, like, the back end of Florida looked as good as. I mean, by the way, Ekblad was getting. I couldn't believe it. Like I've been talking about the whole playoffs. Ekblad, every time he stepped over the boards, he must be injured, but like he wasn't getting beat. He was getting fucking cooked. Like I think every skater on Edmonton like beat him to the puck to negate icing at least once in the series. Like I think every single fucking one did. But anyways, like he wasn't great the whole playoffs. You've got like Kulikov back there saving the fucking puck off the line, kind of like great clearance as he's falling down. Then Sam Reinhart goes down for the game winner. Like they've got Ekman Larson looking like goddamn Bobby Orr out there. Like they're doing this with, it's a crazy roster to me, but it's a real fun team to watch. So yeah, I mean they deserved it obviously, but good for Edmonton for at least like coming back. And that building this series in Edmonton. Though? What? No.
Does anyone care actually?
No.
I mean that as a knock, but even Edmonton fans, right? They don't give a shit. Mm-hmm. Now it's just like, oh, a footnote.
Yeah. No, it's like, all right, now time to
start. Hang on, I gotta get your opinion. How dare Connor McDavid the audacity to not come out and accept his trophy?
Yeah, did they say anything about like just didn't want to?
What? Whoever the brave soul is that actually went and asked if that even happened, like kudos to you, I guess. Like what? Why would he come out? I don't know.
That would have been brutal. Yeah, that was, by the way, it's hard to argue when you put up, what was it 42, 43?
I get arguments both ways. I'm not
well, like
lose my mind
put up a nothing burger game 6 and 7.
Right. That's and the tough part. And he had the game on his stick in the slot and just couldn't connect.
I mean, it's like it's weird trying to make a case against like I feel weird doing it, but at the same time I was like, what was every I mean, I don't know, but I think Florida also just had like people chipping in literally in every part of that fucking lineup. So like if they gave it to Bob, I would have felt weird.
I wouldn't have actually. Like he had like a couple of games there, but you look at because everyone wants to argue for McDavid the totality of the playoffs. He was a rock star. And he came back and he went off in game 7 to ice it. Like, I would have had zero issue with Bobrovsky getting it.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, it just felt like a weird one. Like, because, I mean, even in this series, it felt like the Oilers really started, like, well, I mean, they literally started winning games when they're actually getting guys like Matthias Janmark look fucking unbelievable, by the way, the last, like, 3 games. He was a sicko out there. Connor Brown decided to play hockey in the Stanley Cup final. That was cool. Like they started getting contributions from everybody. And it's like, oh look, like
dude,
this is what happens when you do that.
How bad did he trick everyone though? Like, is he gonna get a real contract and then they're gonna regret it immediately, or is he for real now?
I have no fucking idea.
I don't think anyone does. I think that's part of the problem.
It's great. Like teams are gonna be like, there's no fucking way, right? But like, what the fuck was that? What a weird year. The poor fuck. But like they literally started winning games when like McDavid wasn't producing as much. Well, I mean, I think one of the games he had like 4. So keep the change, thank you. But like they really started looking good at like winning games when they were getting like Warren Fogle, like Matthias Janmark, like those guys, Connor Brown, like those guys chipping in. I was so confused, dude. So I don't even know what to do with that. Just a weird year.
I'm looking over some of your all name team stuff, and Category 3's title got me.
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask if you like that one.
Everyone, just stay tuned. We're gonna be doing a full all name team rundown here later in the show. But goddamn, that one got me. Okay. All right. Anything else from the game itself, or do we transition to like? Is Matthew Tkachuk gonna die?
Yeah, I don't know. We can just transition out. Yeah,
like the best death ever.
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome.
Shout out to our good friends at Waggle Golf. He is rocking their Feelin' Cocky hat. What a great move! Just great branding and placement for them. Everyone, go to getyourwaggleon.com. Drop in promo code SP10 for 10% off. If you want to be a baller like Matthew Tkachuk, if you want to be a loser like Brady, then I guess don't wear one. Whatever. Did you see Commodore's post about Brady Tkachuk?
No.
He basically said this is Ottawa's last year to be competitive. Otherwise, all this fun down in Florida and seeing what it's like to win a cup, he's going to demand out.
Oh, yeah, dude.
What a take. Oh, and the most important thing here, of course, Cosgrove, how do we miss this? Kyle Okposo, $500K bonus that the Sabres have to pay. What a glorious, glorious thing.
Imagine being Kyle Okposo. Like at no point in your 17-year NHL career, throughout which there's been like serious questions about the future of his career, everything like that, like super bad, like injuries, the concussion thing, scary. Didn't even sniff a Stanley Cup. Basically his last chance. Gets to move to Florida. In and out of the lineup, but gets to go in Game 7. Wins the cup for the first time in his career. Next morning's gonna wake up with a fucking $500,000 direct deposit right into the bank account. Incredible! Like what a night!
That's already been spent. That's already been spent. Also, did it feel? Let me preface this. I love Kyle Okposo, former Gopher, consummate pro. It felt like people were pushing way too hard for him to be Ray Bourque. Fair? Like the amount of people like, he has to be the first one to get the cup. He has, he's worked for this forever. Like, this is a guy we've been talking about. Like, no one talked shit at all about Kyle Okposo until he got traded to Florida. They're like, oh, wait, he finally has a chance? Okay, let's talk about this.
like literally.
That's what happened. So
yeah,
again, no respect to him. Like, I'm so happy for him that he pulled that off. I just don't understand why everyone's made it into this like big news story that like, oh yeah, this was his big chase. Like, oh, it's so overdue. Like, how many other guys that don't ever win the cup get that kind of, I'm not even going to go there. Like, it's just weird to me. That's all.
Was funny. Yeah, no, it was funny. It was just, I was like, man, I feel like I didn't know any of these people knew who the fuck he was like 8 minutes ago. Like they found out in the middle of Game 7 that he had been in the NHL for 17 years. And they're like, oh, this is what I've been saying this whole playoff. I hope the Panthers do it for him. Like,
I've been talking about Kyle Okposo for the last 5 years. He needs this.
I've been watching him since he was
playing for the he had been moved on already. Yeah, I guess he's never really been in a spot where it's even been a discussion.
No, hasn't even come close.
I mean, so what's the deal? When Jeff Skinner off buyout goes and signs with the Vegas Golden Knights and they win the Stanley Cup this year, are people going to be losing their mind about how he won a cup the first time he ever made the playoffs?
That's crazy to me, by the way. Like, that is nuts.
Dude can
like he's good.
Play.
Like, I know.
I wish the Wild were more competitive because he's the kind of guy that would be great to pick up. You know, he's just going to go sign with Jack Eichel and go win a cup with Vegas. Like, what other option is there?
Yeah, he is. I'm glad that it did turn. Like, it was crazy that they signed to that insane contract and then immediately he went dry. Like, it was unbelievable. I was like, this is the most Buffalo shit I've ever seen in my life, along with the fucking.
He didn't go dry. He could not live up to what he did that year. Like, that was the contract year of all contract years.
Yeah, and I think the next season he didn't do fuck all until like March.
No, okay, but he's been good since. Like, he's been.
No, yeah. No, I'm saying I'm glad it turned around because like it was looking like before that contract had even like kicked in. It was like, oh god. Yeah, the next year he scored 14 goals, and then in the 21, the COVID short year or whatever. Or was that the COVID season? He scored 7. So I was like, oh no. Oh God. Then he came back 33, 35. He scored 24 last year. But jeez Christ. He's going to hit 400 goals in his career. What a nasty fucking goal scorer. Yeah, I don't know. Anything else on like the actual cup that we want to touch on? I don't really have anything else.
No, I mean, it was competitive, but I'm not with everybody that this was like some incredible game 7. Like, it's good that it was competitive the whole way and you never like could rest on your laurels that someone had won it, but it wasn't that exciting of a hockey game. Especially
I don't know. I thought it was
the third period and there was 0 gas left for the Edmonton Big Dogs.
Yeah,
they rode
it
them
was
hard.
Yeah, that was bad. But like throughout the game, I thought there was like it wasn't really that many periods in the game where I was just like, okay, this is just turnover city. Like they were going back and forth a good amount. Bob was just off his rocker, like especially at the end. I still cannot believe Edmonton didn't put any of those away. Like in the last 5 or so minutes, they had 3, 4, 5 grade A chances with like just a goal mouth scramble, bodies flying everywhere, and like on McDavid's stick. And you've got like fucking Montour throwing out like slide tackles in the crease, Bob just like full yard sale, and somehow that fucking puck just did not go in the back of the net.
Yeah. It was bizarro, but I don't know. Again, I'm not saying it was a bad game. I'm saying I think everyone wants it to be the best game ever.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
I mean, I get that.
There. I'm just not there.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good game, but like not one that we're going to. It's not going to be the first one people think of as like the all-time great game 7. It's like it's not.
Right.
Some case. But yeah, either way, Florida Panthers, Stanley Cup champions. That's crazy.
I mean, it is. And good for them because that was kind of the last chance. Like, they're going to have to move some pieces this year. Whereas Edmonton can just run it back. But what happens with Leon Draisaitl?
Yeah.
Like, for real, what happens?
I don't know how you bring them both. Like, I don't know how you pay both of them.
Pay both of them plus Nurse plus
what are Bouchard's going to get?
Bouchard's getting over 9. There's no way he's not.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy, man. Even thinking about Dry, he's going to look wrong. Like, it's not going to look right if he does end up moving. Like, it's crazy, man. But anyways,
since Wild fans unfortunately have to stomach the Connor Bedard Calder, I guess we will flip it to something that they'll probably be way happier about than they should, but it is still very funny. We've got Ryan Suter buyout, the sequel. He is officially being paid by 2 teams at the same time to not play hockey. I think that's pretty fucking awesome.
It's crazy. Like, they had 1 year left at 3 something.
I think he was flat, wasn't he? Maybe not. Maybe it was.
I can't remember. And they were like, fuck that. No, thank you. And like, it's crazy to me that he's only been there for, what's it? This is 3? Either 3 or 4 years. I can't remember. But I think 3. But like, the commentary, like the reactions from like Dallas fans is essentially the exact same when he got bought out in Minnesota. Everyone's like, yeah, fuck this guy. He's kind of an asshole. I'm like, oh my God, how did he do that in only a couple of years when the Stars were nasty the whole time? Like, that is actually impressive. Like, that he was able to like kind of become hated, just like, well, still, I mean, he wasn't like useless. Like, he's still fine. Like, obviously, he's not the same, but it's crazy to me that the reactions from Dallas Twitter is like, thank God. They're like, holy shit, that's actually impressive that he can fucking piss that many people off everywhere he goes. But I mean, at the end of the day, the guy's gonna be he'll have made like $100 million. Like, thank you.
That's gonna go a long way in Wisconsin.
If he gets signed again and it has 3 teams,
he's going to get signed again. Tell me he's not.
No, I know. That is fucking nuts.
Someone will be
So
desperate,
funny.
and they will do it.
It's so funny. It's like that kind of rules. That kind of makes me hate him less. Like I don't really feel strongly. Actually, that's not true. I guess I do kind of feel strongly one way. But like if he has 3 teams, that rules. If he has 3 teams paying him, like it's unbelievable.
We should actually address this one here, Z, from our boy Vendetta. I'm just sad the Sharks leapfrogged us and guarantees we aren't getting a D steal. Do you agree with this? Because almost everyone online seems to be under the opinion that one specific player has been slotted for that 11 pick. If you're not aware of who it is, then go off on what you think they'll do with it.
Well, I do think like they're definitely so obviously they're gonna get Celebrini at 1, and then when you look at their pool just in general, like they desperately need to start picking up some like high-end defensemen, or at least some defensemen in their pool with like legit upside. Like they have a couple guys that like if they hit, they're probably the like number 4 defenseman. And this is a good draft to try to like secure, but there's also plenty of like I don't think they necessarily needed to like there's still going to be a couple high-end defensemen available if the Wild want to do that. I don't necessarily know if they should anyways with some of the forwards that are be available because of the run on defense.
Yeah.
But
do you think San Jose goes
like,
D there?
Yeah, probably. I would have like I kind of had them pegged most likely with that. What were they before? What was
14
before that? 14. Like it felt like a guy like Solberg, saying Solberg was gonna be right up their fucking alley. Just like big, like some decent upside, but like already close to like playing at like an NHL level. And like that is a motherfucker to play against. Like he kills guys, but he is like legit. Like he's not just a bruiser, he can play. So I gotta like, and I think they probably still could have got him there, but you know, when you look at it now, it's like there's gonna be a couple that they're gonna look at. Like it could be pretty funny if like I mean, he won't fall that far, but if they pick up Salayev, then their 2 top like D prospects are gonna be Muka Badulin and Salayev, 2 massive human beings, both Russian. Like that would be funny, but I mean, I feel like they should go deep. We'll see.
Could Utah not take Salayev if he's there at 6? Like I just don't even see that being a possibility.
Yeah, I don't know because that's another one they definitely need to go out and probably.
So
I don't know. I feel like they kind of could do any of those D that are going to be there are going to be like real good options for them. Like just thinking about like a legit power play guy. That's the thing with Salayev. He's not going to be a power play guy. Like he's not going to be like he doesn't have like number 1 power play quarterback. I don't think so, anyways. Right. Actually, he definitely doesn't. So like when you look at that side of it, like a guy like Zane Parekh, that would make a ton of sense for them. Z Bouillon, who can play both sides too. Like doesn't necessarily need to be right or left, like whatever. But like those are the types of defensemen I think that would be pretty appealing to them. So again, I'm curious to see where Salayev does end up going. I don't think it's going to be the first 2. I'd be fairly surprised if it was even 3, but he's going to go higher than I think he should go, but it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, it would be funny though if they just kept that streak going, just the big fucking Russians.
It would be fun. The conventional wisdom, we'll call it, aka Twitter wisdom, says that this is all but ensured that the BU connection, that'll never be a BU connection, is going to San Jose.
Oh yeah, that would rule. I mean, it makes sense too.
It makes sense. I mean, take that swing. You can put him with either of those centers. That seems fun.
There's also a chance they wouldn't have needed to move either to get. Yeah, that's probably right around. Well, that's like a gamble, I guess.
I think they're more moving up to 11 because the hope is that someone big slides outside of 10. And they're there for it. Otherwise, hey, they threw away the second on a gamble, which I think they can afford to do at this point.
Yeah.
And they still get an elite guy. But yeah, they probably could have gotten him in the same spot. But I don't know. I could see the Wild taking him.
Yeah. No,
For anyone
absolutely.
unaware of who we're talking about Cole Eiserman, which I still think would be just hilarious if that ends up coming to fruition.
Yeah. No, I would kind of wrong. Yeah. And Mike Grier is pulling some shenanigans here. And like, I have been so confused by 90% of his moves. The last 2 weeks, he picks up Jake Wallman and a second rounder in this year for future considerations.
So who is Steve Yzerman going for?
I think he's got to be going Gensel.
That's the only one that makes any sense to me.
Because they did something else. Who else did they move? Fuck me. I had all the trades up earlier, and obviously I don't anymore. Let's see. Oh, they just picked up. Oh, yeah. They got rid of Burrows to pick up Carl Grunstrom, like a bottom six guy that with scoring capabilities. Oh, my God. Where was the other one? Whatever. I'm not going to find it in a timely manner here. Oh, yeah. They picked up Ty Dellandrea for a fourth from Dallas, the 2025 fourth. That's a good player. Big, means, got skill. Legit upside, just hasn't panned out the NHL level yet. Tough to do in Dallas with who's in front of him. But, like, there's been a couple moves where, like, Mike Grier's making moves here. I mean, like, the Barclay Goodrow one's weird, but whatever. It feels like they definitely don't. They're going to be trying to at least surround Celebrini with like NHL level talent. So that makes it interesting. But I like what?
You mean Smith?
And Smith, I guess.
We don't know that Celebrini's going yet. That's not official.
Yeah, no, I do. I'm not gonna. Okay, I'm not even gonna entertain that. But like, dude, Wallman and a second for futures is crazy to me. Like, Wallman's legit. That's a good fucking defenseman. That's a really good player.
That's why it's so crazy, because like that feels. How many teams were looking around like, did I miss a phone call? Like,
yeah, literally.
What?
Whatever. But yeah, San Jose making moves here.
Man. All right, gotta hear your thoughts on. It happened like right after we recorded last week, but the trade was 1-for-1. Pierre-Luc Dubois for Darcy Kemper.
Was it after? I could have swore we did talk about it, but
did we?
I think we did.
We can move on. All right. Then let's talk about a sad trade if you don't want to spend time on a funny one. No more goalie hugs.
Yeah, I hate it.
So tell me why you hate it.
I like specifically bringing in, like, it's just the Korpisalo piece. Like, he's got, I think he has fucking 4 more years on that contract.
That's the part that did blow my mind.
Like, what are we doing? Like, there's no, and you couldn't get them to keep half. Like, you had to only get 25% retained.
Yeah,
like that's the thing for me. It's like I would just fucking like. So they pick up, I think, maybe 1 or 2 million, or 1.5 or 2.5 million in cap space at the end of the day. Now, I do like Mark Kaslik. He's fucking mean as shit, bottom 6 guy. He can play, but like just a fucking grinder. And I like the fact that they get back into the first round. Obviously, whatever. And it was funny that was their pick originally. Anyways, they just got their pick back. But like Korpisalo has been statistically one of the worst goalies on the planet the last 2 years. And he's making, oh my God. Yeah. 4 million through 2028. Like, there's just no reason to do that. But I mean, whatever. They got their pick. There was no way Olmark was going to be here. Like, after they tried really hard to move him, the deadline. It sucks. Obviously, like, I think they kind of looked at like, yeah, having 2 elite level goalies has been awesome in terms of just like banking regular season points, like making the playoffs and not really having to worry about keeping the puck out of the net. Helps that they also have had like historically an elite defense in front of both of them. But the other day, it doesn't really matter in the playoffs. Like you're only playing one of them, obviously. They technically did a rotation twice, but like not really. But I get moving on. I would have probably expected them not to have to bring back fucking Korpisalo, but you know what? He was good when he got traded to LA.
He's not a bad goalie, but like that's a contract that you should not have to get stuck with when you're making that kind of a deal. Unless unless because we don't know yet because it's not July 1st, unless it's a matter of him not choosing to re-sign there, right? Like if he's not willing to extend, then okay, I guess that return makes sense, but just feels weird. But for you, now that you can actually look at it through a Bruins lens, at 25, who's a guy that you think, like, if things fall the right way, whatever, like, who's a guy that you would be thrilled about them getting at 25 and then forget all about the Korpisalo piece?
I mean, one that stands out, I don't know if I would necessarily say like thrilled, but I think it'd be a good pick. It's the right range and it fills a need for sure. And I think he's going to be a good NHL player, a center like Cole Baudouin from, I think it's Barrie Colts. I mean, he also just kind of fits the Boston Bruin mold of like young players they try to identify. Like he's got good size. He plays a really, really sound two-way game. He does have legit offensive upside too. And he is like on the bigger side and he's a center. And they desperately need to start like going down the draft route of like finding these centers. Obviously they like made a pretty big pick in Matty Poitras, who got hurt this year. But he was looking really good before he got hurt for his first year in the NHL. But they really they desperately needed to get back into the first round and start like finding potential centers. So like I think a guy like Cole Baudouin makes sense. If they really wanted to go all risk, like just swing for the fences, and it's been floated out there before, a guy that's going to BC next year, he's fucking massive and there's legit upside. It's just we don't know the level of competition. Dean Letourneau, 6'7" center who can like legit move. He's got crazy like just skill, the hands, but like that is a swing for the fences pick at 25. Sure. I think people who watch him a lot would project him to the first round. He makes me nervous because I haven't got enough viewings of like high school hockey where he's playing. So I don't know. It's still like risky to me, but that's been floated out there too. But again, I think a guy like Cole Baudouin makes sense. Just big center, plays good two-way game, legit upside, really good player. So I'd be fine if they went down that route.
Who is there in that general range, maybe a slight reach or based on projections? Who's a guy that if they took, you'd be like, I want to undo the whole trade. This is a joke.
I don't know, but depending, I don't think they need to go out and pick up like another defenseman. Like first of all, they've got enough signed there long term. They've got a couple young defensemen, but like when I look at some of the D that might go around that range, even like a guy I think I had him right around the 20-25 range, was Alphonse Frey. I don't think that would make a ton of sense to do that anyways. They desperately need skill. So realistically, any of the guys who is just like, he'll be an NHL. Like they always target guys with like high floor. And for once, and like outside of a few times, like last year or a couple years ago, they went Liesel. It's not working out so far, but when he's healthy, he's been really good in the AHL. But I'm desperately hoping they went for upside or go for upside. And then Flyer Voracek just threw in there Gabriel Eliasson. That would be right up the Bruins fucking alley. They like he is probably the meanest player, and like he's a decent enough player. Probably should go like in rounds 4, 5, 6. But he's I think 6'8", 6'7", 6'8". He is unbelievably mean. Like every time he's on the ice, he is putting someone through the fucking glass, and that's the exact kind of player I'd be like. The Bruins like, yeah, first round, absolutely. But yeah,
okay. That'll work. The last one, and I don't know if this is one that we just want to talk about the player in general, or maybe it's something where you see him being a potential fit with the Minnesota Wild, but we have the second coming of Cutter Gauthier. We have Rutger McGroarty demanding his way out of the Winnipeg Jets organization.
Yeah, he's he's interesting. The big question with him is going to be like the skating, because in terms of just like ability and upside, like he's got tons of skill. He's a good playmaker. He can score. He's a really good fucking player. The skating is a problem, and it's a big reason that he didn't go higher than he did. He makes me nervous at the same time. Like he's obviously got legit upside, and like if he's demanding his way out, then I'm curious to see what the asking price would be. Like if you could pick up a Rutger McGroarty, a young player with legit upside, it's just a question of whether or not the skating can get fixed. The foot speed is just not there, but he is very creative. He's a fun player, so I'll be curious to see what the asking price is. But if you can get him for like a decent price, he's a real good piece to add, especially if you're kind of lacking in your pool. I guess Mangiapane just got traded to Washington for a 2025 second-round pick. Interesting. Oh. I thought he would have gone for more, but whatever. He had a rough year last year.
For more and somewhere else, too.
Yeah, I don't know. Washington's just doing weird shit right now. They're going on.
The first line, Mangiapane, Ovechkin, Dubois, the way everyone pictured it.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. We're 45 minutes in. I feel like we should probably...
I know. Well, I'm trying to make these graphics for you because you didn't send me your picks until 10 minutes before we jumped on. So I tried to stall the best I could. Well, don't sit here and tell me that we're wasting time. All right, we can jump in. I got the first three ready, and while you talk about these, we can I'll keep working on it. So we have the all-name team, but Z has gone about creating different categories of all-name team. And no further ado, let me pull it up here. For the first one, we have that guy is cool. Probably.
I bet he's cool, yeah. But I mean, possibly the winner is Jet Luchenko. Are you trying to tell me that guy like doesn't own at least one motorcycle? Like, like you're trying to tell me he doesn't have a Harley
in the draft for the all-name team. I love Jet Luchenko, the name.
Yeah. So. Yeah. There's another category I thought about putting Z Bouillon in, but at the same time, like gotta be cool. Same thing. Anytime there's a Z in there, you got a good chance. Zane Parekh, Andrew Basha, Tija Ginla, Macklin Celebrini to join Jet Luchenko and Z Bouillon. I just feel like if someone came up to me and was like, "Hey, what's up? My name's Jet." I'm like, "Oh, shit." I'm like getting nervous. I'm gonna be like, "Oh, fuck! I better be on my game here just in this conversation." He's nasty too. He rules. He's in my first round. Just a fucking really fun player
he's
to watch.
Most now, isn't he?
Yeah. He works
in the 20s for most people. Like maybe
he's
like
high on like Craig Button is. He got him very high.
Oh, Craig Button has Tija Ginla 3, so
yeah. I mean, whatever. But yeah, no, category 1. That guy's cool. There was about like 15 other ones I could have thrown in there. I was like, I can't just do this. Like, I have to switch it up here. But yeah, that guy is cool. Probably. Congratulations. This is the peak of their careers. Obviously, this is their most coveted achievement in their NHL in their hockey lives. So congratulations, fellas.
Yeah. I don't know. It doesn't look like anyone's chiming in that we missed any. So we'll go with that. Next one. We've got No Way That's Real.
Like I named it this category specifically for the first player. Keets, Keets. First of all, I have never heard that ever. Keats Fawcett. Like that's why I named it. Fawcett, by the way, Fawcett for anyone's listening. I just refuse to believe that's real. Now, this is another guy. He might go 6th, 7th round. He plays WHL, good player. And then the other two, I was just laughing. I was like, how the fuck? Like, what is Lucan Huff and P2 Kukas? So I refuse. I'll believe it when I see them in like real life that they are people that exist. It's not just one of
Lucan Huff.
Yeah,
lumberjack offspring of Brennan Huff and his therapist.
Oh my god,
that's it. That's the one.
Yeah. See, like all three of these names, I feel like you could have found in Jay Fresh's top 50 that he does every year. Where he makes people up and throws them in there.
The best I saw was someone being like, I just looked up, and the fact that John Mustard is real makes me think that all of these names must be real. That one's too good. But what is this? That third one is ridiculous. That's a Pokemon. It is.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. Well,
it's the Hawaii name for Peter. Piopi. It's too good. Oh my god.
Yeah, I got rid of my watch when I moved out here.
All right, nice. This next one you're going to spend a lot of time on, Z. And I need to, because it took me a lot of time to make, and it's going to give me time to get ahead on the remaining graphics. This one I was not ready for when I saw the title of it, and it is actually super fitting. So thank you for adding this. We have the John Deere Hockey Club, aka Utah Hockey Club. See, there's a lot of names here. You just go down this one by one and talk through why each of them belongs on the John Deere Hockey Club.
John Deere Hockey Club is just a bunch of dudes who bring their lunch pail to work. They clock in, they clock out on time, they go home, no extracurricular activities. There's just like, you hear their name, you're like, I bet that guy just gets the job done. No nonsense. John Deere Hockey Club. Miles Cooper, just a straight up guy. Work boots. Jack Good, same exact. Jack Good, it's the one that I think it was his name that I was like, I'm going John Deere Hockey Club here. Again, you try to tell me that guy owns anything other than like Carhartts, you're out of your mind. Jake Fisher, all American. Just all, like, that guy has 4 different shirts. They're all Hanes white tees. Same thing. Jeans. Rides a tractor. David Green. There you go. I had to throw him in there. Kevin which is still, by the way, he's a very good player. Actually, he's going to go like 3rd round probably. He's a decent player. Cole Davis. Sneaky one of my favorites is Finn Harding. There's another category I thought about putting him in just because every time I meet someone named Finn, I'm like, that's a good dude. That's just a no-nonsense good guy. Noah Bender. That's the guy that brings the beers to the fields. Little post-work beers. John Mustard, what more do you have to say? Come on, obviously. Carter George, I almost had another category saying which one is the first name, which one's the last name. Carter George is in there. He's going to be one of the first goalies off the board. I'm going to pretend like it's not Alexandra, and I'm going to pretend like the last name's Guy and not Guy, but Alexander Guy. Again, just tell him what needs to get done. It's getting done. Sam Hillebrandt, I feel like that's another tractor company probably. So I threw him in there. And then this one just made me laugh. Hyde Davidson. Like, fuck yeah. That guy is the one signing up for all the toughest jobs. He's like, yeah, absolutely no problem. Doesn't complain. Has one face that he makes, only one facial expression. Davidson. So that's the John Deere Hockey Club. I'll be honest, this is another category that I probably could have thrown like 30 more into. I was like, we can't possibly do this. There you go, John Deere Hockey Club. Congratulations, fellas. Again, this is just a big time accomplishment for all of them.
All right. Well, I just got caught up and finished the next graphic here, which this one's fun. I wasn't ready for this. It wasn't as surprising as the John Deere Hockey Club. And this one, actually, I imagine this one you could have pretty much just named every Russian that exists. But here we have possible assassin / hitman.
Yeah, you trying to tell me these guys don't have like a body count? Like they all wear super tight beanies, like like the skull cap basically. I was almost threw Zeev William in this one, just to mix it up a little bit here. But I mean, first one, Marek Vanacker, terrifying. That's a first round pick, by the way. I wouldn't mind if the Bruins picked him up. Very good player. Matvey Babenko, terrifying. This one might. Actually, the last three really do. They all have shouts to be like player of the year in the possible assassin / hitman. Ruslan Gazizov. My God, terrifying. Yegor Klimovich. I feel like there's been assassins in the world who have gone to prison and their last name is Klimovich. So I feel like I've seen that before somewhere. And then Arseny Marchenko. So terrifying. I feel like another guy, like I feel like there's plenty of Arsenis out there who have gone to prison for this type of stuff. So, yeah, by the way, Flyer Voracek mentioned Sam Dickinson for John Deere Hockey Club. He could have gone in there too. That's a good shout. I tried to, as I was making the categories, I tried to get away from like the top prospects. That's how I was like, I just can't help it. But yeah, no, Sam Dickinson would have been a welcome addition.
Cosgrove, I heard John Mustard's uncle killed a man in the ballroom with a candlestick. Brilliant. To buy me some more time here, Z, I want you to spend a little bit of time here on Mateo's question. How do you feel about Michael Hage at 13? Is it Hage, Hag? How do we pronounce this?
Hague. It's an interesting one. I really, really, really like Michael Hague. I have him like a little bit after. I can actually pull up mine. Where did I put him? I think I put him. Yeah, I put him at 17 myself. 13 does feel just a little bit high, but like he is but if they made that pick, I would totally get it. Like he's a 6'1", right around 200-pound center, legit two-way game. He's an ankle breaker. He's incredible in transition. He's super smart. Just a dynamic offensive toolkit. But specifically that transition game, which it feels like the Wild are really starting to covet, combined with the fact that he's definitely going to be like, for my money, I think he is going to be a center at the NHL level, and he has like second line center upside, like legit point producer. Again, plays a really, really sound two-way game. I think it fits. And I mean, he's not afraid of taking contact too. So like he plays hard. So I like him a lot. I would love it if the Wild had him in their prospect pool. Like that's a player they don't necessarily have much of or any of, just given the fact that he's a center with size, but like legit skill and upside. And like, again, one that I'm confident is going to be a center at the NHL level. So I really like Hague. 13 might feel just like a bit early.
Where is he on your list?
17.
Okay.
But I also like his floor too. So like, there you go. But like the second half of the year, he was again, like this is a kid that went through he missed most of last year with the injury, lost father in the off season. Like, so started off slow. And like, it was it was a shoulder surgery. It was a big injury to come back from. And then it seemed like once he did get fully healthy, like he just ripped apart the USHL again. Like he scored 33 goals in 54 games. With 75 points. And I think 25 of his goals came like the second half. So he just once he got healthy, it was feeling good. He kind of just took off. And again, like just ripped apart the USHL. So I like him a ton. Again, 13 might be somewhat a bit early, but like if that's a player that you're confident, if you're Judd Brackett and that's the player that you've identified, like that's the mold, and I totally get that. I would totally get the pick.
Fair. All right. We're ready for the next one. If anyone else has any draft related questions, throw them in here because I'm going to need another buffer after this category. Goofball.
Yeah. I just think they're probably very funny. Theo Kiss, hilarious. And I've never met a Theo that wasn't hilarious. So there you go. Teddy Stiga, same thing. Anyone named Teddy? Hard to, I don't know. I just laugh whenever I talk to them. So there you go. Another guy, by the way, first round for me, like no question. Teddy Stiga, he rules. A lot like a Jet Luchenko type. Ole Josefsson, come on. You try to tell me that guy isn't hilarious? Melvin Fernstrom just screams class clown. And then I just didn't know what to make of this guy's name. It just sounds funny. Ryerson Leenders rounds out our goofball category for the all-name team here. Ryerson Leenders. I just laughed saying it.
That was the only one that kind of got me by surprise, was the Leenders one. Great name, deserves some kind of all-name team consideration. I'm trying to decide if he's a goofball.
Yeah, I don't know. I just laughed when I was like reading. I was like, yeah, fuck it. That might have been like the last edition that I put before I like left the house.
Okay. More of a comment, but I'll let you go off on it, Z, from Vendetta. I feel like Sam Dickinson and Brock Faber would be easily top 3 defensive pairings.
Yeah, I mean, it would be real solid. I'm going to be really, really, really curious to see how high Sam Dickinson. I think he will end up going very, very high. I feel like he put up crazy high production in the OHL this year for a defenseman. Part of that helps when you're like on the power play as much as you are on like one of the best power plays in junior hockey, like in the past decade. But like, again, coming into the year, his big selling point was like the defensive game. He's got the size. I'd like to see him like use his physicality a little bit more and use his size to his advantage and be a bit more of a bruising presence. But I mean, he skates really well. He's okay. He's pretty good in transition, makes a good first pass. Yeah, it would be a real nice pair. I'm trying to figure out like what the likelihood ends up being that he does hit the upside. I still feel like he's a high floor guy anyways, but the legit upside could make him like a real needle mover for any team. Like a lot of what he does makes you sit there like want to say like he's got number 1 upside. I just don't know if he's going to hit it. But yeah, no, I mean like that would be solid defensive pair with some offensive upside too, for sure, if it was him in favor. But like he's not going to be like, he might go top 5. Like I feel like of all the defensemen they're going to go early, I feel like people feel safest with Dickinson. So I'll be curious to see just how high he goes, because I've heard he's going to go very early.
Really? Okay. One here from Cosgrove. This is more of a comment, but I'm turning it into a question. With Judd's second round record the last 4 years, I'd probably rather have 13 and 45 than trading them for 11, which I think we both agree with. Just talk about how strong his second rounds have been since he joined the Minnesota Wild, because I've had the same thought. Like that has literally been where he's made his money.
Yeah, I mean, he's just hit like banger after banger. Like, I mean, just last year, Kumpelainen and fucking Riley Heidt, which is just so funny to me that he went last pick of the second round. I mean, it's just asinine, but you know, I'm not going to complain about it. Year before that, Hunter Haight and Rieger Lorenz, not going to hurt you either. And who was it the year before? I think it was Jack Peart. And then his first one, he picked up Husnudinov and Ryan O'Rourke. Like, those are all players who I assume will play NHL games and will be NHL regulars at some point, which, like, I feel like people just expect that second rounder to automatically hit. There's like a very low, it's like, I forget what the percentage is of second round picks that actually like play at least 200 games in the NHL. It's not a high number at all. And those, all of those guys have legit like chances to be regular NHL players. So, and like a couple that are projected to be very, very good NHL players and play for a very long time to be legit contributors for Minnesota. So, yeah, his second round pedigree is not questionable.
Well, and of those guys, like, rank them for me as far as not like who's going to be here soonest, but like 5 years from now, who are going to be the guys that we need to know? Because there's a couple of like very notable guys in there.
Yeah, I mean, like Riley Heidt probably takes the cake for like highest upside there. I mean, we're already seeing Marat Husnudinov, like he'll be here. I feel like he should be full-time NHL guy next year. And he's looked really good since he got here. I'd probably go, the upside would lean more towards Hunter Haight. The only thing that makes that questionable is just like the profile of like players at that size, the fact that he's probably going to be a winger. kind of like makes you question that a little bit. But like in terms of the upside, I would say Hunter hate. But like a guy like Rasmus Kumpalainen, again, I've said this so many times, is one of the more intriguing players in this pool, and like one that is so fun to watch. He's got the size, he plays the two-way game, just ridiculous fucking skill, especially for a guy his size. And like again, the fact that he is as good as he is in transition despite not having foot speed is just incredibly impressive. I think he's so smart. So he's a player that I think is going to be a real solid NHL guy. And then right there is Riga Lorenz. Again, those are the guys I feel strongest about. Jack Pert, I'm still trying to figure out. Like I go back and forth on him. Like I think he's a legit player. I think he's got legit upside. Like he's so good in transition. He's such a good skater. But again, it's just the fact that he's a left shot defenseman. He's 5'11", 5'10". Like he's gonna have to find another level of another gear in order for him to be like an impact top 4 NHL defenseman. I feel like he feels more like a 4 or 5 guy. And it's just like, it's crazy. This pool specifically, how many of those guys it feels like they already have. So he's going to have to separate himself.
Yeah, that's fair. And Flyer Voracek, the reason that Giovanni DeJulian was left off of the All Assassins team is because he had a far more important list to be a part of. And I love this. This has to be a staple every year, Z. We have Jim Tan Laundry, our name team. It's so good. Now you have to say all of these like you're in oh man, why can't I think of the movie now? Brad Pitt, Inglourious Bastards. Margariti.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Listen, we got the category Jim Tan Laundry. Some of these names are just so good. Like I would be shocked if all of them weren't rocking like slick back hair. Again, a lot of leather, I feel like most likely. A lot of leather jackets going on, a lot of white tees. Number one, Elliot Italien. Insane. And it's funny because it's probably like more of a French name than Italian name, but like it literally says Italy. Like I had to throw it in there. This one's all time. Diego Buttazzoni. I mean, come on. Tony Cardilli. Anthony, aka Tony. Cristoforo. By the way, like you look at him, like he's a good player. He's big defenseman. He's just like, it's like a super tan, just being guy. Like, so it's just very fitting that he's in this category. Tommaso De Luca, great player, by the way. Another big Italian bastard. Drew Della Sala is kind of absurd. And then Francesco, Delelce? It's a crazy place to put the apostrophe.
Delelce.
Francesco
Delelce.
The person we were just talking about, Giovanni Di Giulian. This is a kid I literally saw 4 or 5 years ago playing prep league hockey, like the summer showcase league out here at Foxborough. He's filthy. Left shot, undersized defenseman. Will Felicio. He was, I think, 3 years younger than every kid that we were going to watch at Foxborough, and like significantly better than literally everybody. It was incredible. He was like fucking 14. And then Frankie Morelli and Luca Morelli, the brothers. So I had to throw both of them in there. But yeah, that's the Jim Tan Laundry.
What if you could only pick one of the Morellis? Which one is more Jim Tan Laundry?
I kind of feel weirdly, I feel like Luca's the Italian name, but like Frankie is the one that like I just feel like that's the win.
No, it's
you know what I mean?
Frankie. No, I was going to say like Luca is more Italian, but Frankie Morelli is way more Jim Tan Laundry.
Yeah.
I can't explain it. Don't ask me to, but it's just
like I feel like it's crazy. I could have put Luca Morelli and like that guy is cool probably. Like, you know, like I feel like the name Luca, anytime I see that, I get fired up.
There you go. Next is a pretty brief one for you, Z.
I didn't have enough time. If I had, I just didn't get to it.
Okay.
I know that there's probably 10.
There's got to be some massive omissions here. I was going to say, I'm shocked you only came up with 2. Do you know who my dad is?
My dad's a lawyer. He's going to Preston Lonsbury. Like, come the fuck on. You're trying to tell me the guy doesn't have coiffed blonde hair, just only wears polos. Like, he definitely is the guy that when they show up in the dress pants, no socks, and like the shoes that show 90% of their feet. That's him. And then William Mick Isaac. Anytime I see Mick Isaac, I'm like, I bet that guy is a dick, probably. And I bet he is always telling people who his dad is or what they do for work. Yeah, a bunch of omissions I know for a fact. I was trying to just remember some on the top of my head because this was the category I did last. There were a couple that I had at one point off the top of my head I could have thrown in here, but I just forgot or couldn't remember in the moment. I couldn't just actually, I was going to do a separate category, like, but I was going to throw this guy in this category. The other category I was thinking of was like, I was trying to figure out how to family links to Vikings, like a Viking bloodline, this guy, or like royalty. I don't know. Adam Hesselball.
Those are very different.
Adam Hesselball. I couldn't decide. By the way, he's nasty too. He's sick. He's a good player. He's one of my boys from Sweden. But Hesselball, I was like, I can't decide if he belongs in this category or like a former Viking or royalty. I don't know. Bloodline. Or that could have been the category bloodline. I don't know. But I thought about throwing him in there.
Okay. Sure. I love this. From Flyer Voracek. Frankie is New York Italian. Luca is Italian.
Well played. Yeah, like Luca's like respectful.
So well stated. That's brilliant.
Insanely accurate.
Oh man. There's a top contender for you, Z.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I just want to say the name. I couldn't fucking. I couldn't. I was like, this is a nightmare.
All right. That's fair.
Fuck. Where was I? I just had another one up. I can't believe I forgot to throw him in.
Yeah, we need a couple more. Do you know who my dad is? Options for the people.
Where the fuck did it go? Oh, it's a big omission to this guy is cool probably, and again, nasty player, Miguel Marquez. That's a tough miss. That's a tough omission. I fucked that one up.
Okay, yeah. I feel you.
Possible, or two possible John Deere editions. Carson Pilgrim.
Yep.
Max Plant.
His brother's a Penguins prospect, so you'd be nice.
Yeah, he's good too. He's nasty.
Who's better?
What?
Who's better?
Max Plant's fucking nasty.
Yeah. Okay.
Sam St. Hilaire. That would have been a good one for this category.
Fair.
I gotta scroll down to the. I don't know. There's a bunch of guys who like it's the two last names. It's Van something. There's a couple of those that would have gone real well in this category. But there you go.
Honestly, Yakimchuk is a mongrel. Who the fuck is his dad? All right.
Scary guy, probably.
Probably a very scary guy. All right, Z. Before I throw up the graphic, why don't you preface this for those that might be new here? We have Draft Sons. What does that even mean?
Yeah, every year I've got a couple guys who I'll just like, they're just ride or dies. Either I've been watching them for a very long time, or sometimes it's just like I get a couple of really good viewings, and either they're not getting the attention I think they deserve. That's only a couple of them here. Or it's just like, if I'm a GM, I'm having a hard time not taking them way higher than I should. This year wasn't like crazy. I picked 5. There are 2 that probably aren't as well known, but like actually over the past couple of weeks,
maybe just one.
Well, I mean, like over the last couple of weeks, though, it's like they've been projected into first rounds too. So I'm like doing my job apparently.
Oh, really?
So
look at that.
Yeah.
Ahead of the curve. All right, let's do it then. Unveiling the 2024 draft Suns.
Hell yeah. I mean, no one's surprised. Michael Bronzek-Nygård, he's been my draft son since day one.
The fake
Real chance he ends up with Minnesota because, I mean, I know for a fact that they do love him a lot. It's just going to be whether they go for the upside or not.
And
Z Bouillon,
who falls, right?
Yeah. I mean, Z Bouillon, I don't think we need to go to. I think everyone is pretty familiar with why he would be a favorite.
Yep, you've been all over him. You were swooning over him when you were here for the Frozen Four. What is the furthest? Like, if you got to handicap it, what is the furthest he falls? Like
10.
You think he can make it to 10?
No,
wow.
Boy, that's the first. I'd be like, Jesus. Like,
no,
okay.
but so if he makes it to 7 or 8, are you shocked?
No, because I know that a couple of those guys, like I know for a fact that like NHL teams, like they're so infatuated with some of the other defensemen, and then like who's gonna go? Like there's a couple of that. Like again, we've talked about this before because I have my final rankings up here. Like a guy like Berkeley Cat and I have 3, but like there's a chance that he's there at 12. Like that's a real possibility.
Z straight up if Zeev Boyum makes it past 8.
I mean, again, depends what you're giving up. I don't know really, because I mean, when you look at it,
it'll be expensive.
Yeah, I just like I don't know if defenseman really is where I'd want them to look. I mean, if he's sitting there, like again, like if the trading up thing again depends what it costs. I think it's hard to think about.
Most of our forwards, I'll take it.
That's the thing. Well, I mean, if you want to go that route, then you would go with Perek. He also plays the right side. And he's a guy I'm real curious to see where he falls to, because I think there are teams that are going to be understandably legit like afraid of the two-way game if he's just like. I think teams are legit concerned over whether or not a guy like Zane Perek's going to be an all offense guy, like a black hole defensively. I don't think he will be, but there's like legit concerns there too.
Vendetta, not throwing you under the bus here, but Z, I have a feeling you're not going to be happy with this. I'd trade Lambos and our first for Boyum.
I wouldn't do both. Like I can understand if someone was like, I would want to do the Lambos part.
Right. But that combo seems...
People have like, I don't know. It feels like there's a lot of people, and I'm not saying.
I think the general public would be with Vendetta. In fairness, I just know you. Everyone, pump the brakes. Like Lambos is fine. Yeah,
I mean, like again, Iowa, and like I feel like it was the Judd bracket episode you just did. Like they were talking about that too. Iowa A was dog shit. 2, they were playing with most nights. They had all 6 defensemen were like either 23 and under or had played fewer than like 100 AHL games ever, like pro hockey games. A bunch of those guys had been playing junior hockey or college hockey the year before. So like they were absolutely set up for failure from day one. So, but it's crazy to me that like the commentary around Lambos has always been confusing to me. Like it's feels like giving up on a super like high ceiling defenseman pretty early, but you know, I if you wanted to, and again, I guess it wouldn't really make sense until like a year or 2 down the line when like this would actually come to fruition. But if someone was like, you can do Lambos or Bouyem, like yeah, probably. Because Z Bouyem again is just like he's fucking unbelievable. And like again, the thing with him, which is a big reason he's the draft son, people who maybe don't watch a ton of these guys, every time they see a defenseman that puts up a lot of points, like, oh, all offense. Like, no. He has got a ridiculously good fallback defensive game. Like, even if he's not going to pop off points wise, he's going to give you really, really solid two-way like play. Like, his defensive game is no joke. His rush defense in zone, like, he's physical. He's 6 foot. There you go. He is 6 feet tall. But he's a solid player all around. He's not just a point producing offense guy, but like his mixtape is it's fun. Like, obviously the skill jumps off the page, but again, like we saw it in person, like they negated. So like, especially in the final, like the BC, those top guys maybe had 3 or 4 grade A's. Other than that, like they had nothing off the rush, and a big reason was Z Bouillon just like killing plays before they even started.
Facts. And to Z's point, I just threw into the chat for everybody. We had last week Judd Brackett join the show, and he had a lot to say. Draft in general, some things more Wild specific. He even talks a little bit about Cole Yzerman and what he thinks about him. But also dropped this week Hunter Haight, and he actually gave a little bit of a scouting profile on one Zane Parekh that you mentioned earlier. Guys that just no big deal, won the Mem Cup together. Now we're going deeper into it. Would you do Lambos in our second for Boyum? I don't know, probably at that point, yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I have a hard time attaching like a top end prospect with another big like first, second round pick just to move
I guess the real question is Zeev Boyum a no shit, like gonna work out guy to the point where it's worth moving those 2 pieces because you're like, yeah, I know this is gonna work? That's where it comes down. Because I'm with you.
I mean, I
trade a past first and a second in a draft that is going to have some good seconds. But
yeah, I mean, again, like it's like the thing with defensemen. Like, first of all, other than goalies, they take a very long time to figure it out. Usually, like there are some guys like Faber who just like step in. But I don't know. Like I look at the possible upside with Lambos and what he's shown before, and again, it's just like obviously not been set up for success in Iowa so far. But it's more of that. Like I do have a hard time just immediately giving up on Lambos, but I mean, at the same time, like the upside of Bouillon's obviously super high. So it's interesting. I don't know. I just have always have a hard time with the top prospect plus a big pick or a high pick for like move up.
Fair. Next guy you talked about a little bit in recent episodes, but Sam O'Reilly is definitely a riser, a guy that was probably more mid to late second at best for a while, and now he's a guy that's vying for late first.
I wouldn't be shocked if he goes like 30, 31, 32. Like, especially given like the playoff performance he just put on for the London Knights. It's another one of those guys. It's actually like somewhat similar profile, though all 3 of them do it a little bit differently. But when you look at him, Teddy Stiga, and Jet Luchenko, they're like kind of undersized, but like just a non-stop motor. Every time that they're on the ice, they're the hardest working guys. Like whether it's just going on the forecheck, winning pucks. They also just start showing like this like
we're losing him again. Yeah, I think we lost Z. It was inevitable. Oh, he might still be, maybe. I don't know. Hard to say.
Yep.
Yeah, he's for sure falling off. Note for Isha. Edit at 1 hour, 21 minutes. And Z left. He'll be back in a sec. Yep. Thank you, Cosgrove. RIP to Z. Good point here from Flyer Voracek, where I feel like Seneke or Seneca, depending on what pronunciation you want to go with, he and Tisha Ginla feel like the guys that I have no clue where they're going to go. Both could go as early as 5. Both could go outside the top 10. And I can't really make much rhyme or reason out of it. And I think Wild fans would be thrilled to land either of those players. Hopefully Z's back in here in a second. Because that is pretty much all that we had to wrap this up. Son of a bitch. Well, as we mentioned, make sure that you're all tuned in. You can go ahead of time, comment any pre-draft questions you guys have. Please like the stream that's scheduled. Make sure you show up at 5:30. We're going to be ripping and roaring right away. Final thoughts on the pick. That is a loaded one. I'm with Z in general that I think we need to go with a forward, assuming that one of those elite defensemen doesn't fall. But I think some of the early chatter around like, oh, do they take like an Adam Juracek type? Like, I would be pretty disappointed if we went that kind of route. That said, whatever Judd Brackett does, I'm going to trust until I see proof of otherwise. But I definitely lean the path of high upside. Like, if a Cole Eiserman's there, I think you have to take him. I think that Z's preference, as has been mentioned on many occasions, if somehow Berkeley Catton falls far enough because of size, that is his number one choice. And I've never disagreed with Z, so I'm good with that. Here you say, if Yzerman goes at 11, it means one of Yakimchuk, Catton, or Iginla falls. If it's Catton or Iginla, I'm thrilled. And he could go at 11. We'll see. Hey, he is back.
It's literally only
StreamYard. Huh. It's only StreamYard for only you. Well, you can carry on. We were just addressing final thoughts on the Minnesota Wild pick, and we can kind of end the show with that for you. You got cut off in the middle of Sam O'Reilly. If there's anything you want to add, feel free. Otherwise, feel free to just jump right to a guy you've talked about a decent amount, Liam Greentree.
Yeah, I mean, again, the thing with Sam O'Reilly is just wherever he goes, it's going to be like the same thing with Stiga and Luchenko. I feel like they're all their maybe instant fan favorites with their style of play, whether just without necessarily a ton of like flashy plays or whatever, but like they're just going to get it done. But Liam Greentree, he's fucking unbelievable. Like, it's crazy to be that it's kind of seemed like, despite zero changes in his game and effectiveness, like his stock went down a little bit. Like, but he did the same thing from day one of the season to the end, and then the OHL playoffs happened. Obviously, Windsor didn't sniff the playoffs; they fucking sucked. He still put up over 90 points in the OHL by himself, and then he goes to the U18s Worlds, where like he is put into like a bottom six role. I think it may have been a bit of an adjustment period playing with like really fucking good players again. But like still put up a couple points there. And because of that, it feels like a lot of other guys, their stock rose. His kind of sank a little bit. I still think he's going to go mid-teens. But like just a human highlight reel. It's interesting because it's like he has flashes of being a power forward, but like it's kind of a little bit different because the way that he does it's still more like he does it through his skill while like just inviting contact, like loving it. He's got the size, he's strong as fuck, but like he like invites contact, will absolutely eat it and then make a play around you at the same time. Like it's kind of crazy. And again, he is good enough on the forecheck. Again, really solid 2-way game in general. So I think like the upside here with a guy like Liam Greentree is ridiculous. When you blend this like the size skill combo with the highlight reel plays, but the fact that he could play that like physical power game, he's just a beast. So I love Liam Greentree. He's one of my favorites.
So would you say, like, let's go with a hypothetical here that I'm sure people would lose their absolute minds over, a la Oliver Moore. But Chicago Blackhawks have the 18th pick. Everyone seems pretty convinced that the initial purpose of that trade was to make it easier to move up even further. Do you slide back to 18 pick up their 34. Maybe you've got to give up a little something else to balance it, but give up the 13 and pick up that asset and hope that at 18 you can grab a guy like Liam Greentree, which I think is pretty realistic. Not a lock, but realistic.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get another early second and then just move back a couple, like the thing is with this draft, you've got like basically Celebrini, then there's a gap like guys like Demidov, Levshunov, in my opinion, Catton. Like you've got no shit guy, like no shit, probably like top 6, top 4 D-men, like not just upside but probability. But then after that, like after like 10 or 11, it's this crazy, like you'll see some, it's the same players, but you'll see some guys listed like 22nd. Meanwhile, someone else has them at like 12. It's like, it's that group of players. It's so weird. So like, I wouldn't feel nervous about moving back to 18 all, especially if you're also going to have another early second. Like that wouldn't be a bad move.
All right. Fair. Last guy then, Linus Eriksson, who it's been a little while since you've said anything about him.
Yeah, and really, really interesting. So he's a Swedish center. He's big. He's got decent size. Good skater, and kind of just like plays a sound game. Like he'll have flashes of skill, flashes of playmaking. Like his numbers, when you look at them, don't necessarily jump off the page. But then again, you look at it again, and it's like he eventually graduated from playing the J20 in Sweden, like the U20 league, to going to playing in the Allsvenskan with Djurgården. And he put up like 11 points in 28 games, which as like a draft eligible is very impressive, especially when you just like look at his like overall profile. But then in the playoffs, he like went off. So he's just like kind of like a guy it feels like you win with. So I like him a ton. And I think over the course of this year, the fact that he was playing so well in the Allsvenskan in a pro league against men, like people have really started to pick up. So I've seen him in most first rounds. Like he was in our first round at Smart Scouting. Like he's made his way into that like late first, early second conversation at this point now, but like before it's probably more like mid second, late second. But it's interesting. He's just like, he's not going to necessarily do a ton that's going to jump off the page. Like it's not like a Liam Greentree situation where it's like a human highlight reel. It kind of just seems like he's just like a super smart sound game and like super reliable. So almost like, I mean, like a kid like Caden Bankier always would have a flash of like highlight reel stuff, especially fucking his last year, the WHL. But it was just like every time you talk to a scout about it, it was just like he's just the most reliable guy on your team, even if he's not doing anything that's going to jump off the page. It's like kind of a similar type conversation with a guy like Linus Eriksson. I'd like him a ton. I think there's a chance he goes first round. But if he's there early second, that's a real nice pickup because I think that's a guy that's going to play games and be an NHL regular for sure.
Love that. Okay. And last thing here, we're going to be the first to announce here. No one else knew this. Breaking news. The first overall pick. And for whatever reason, that image is broken. I don't know why. Well, Celebrini, if you can't tell.
So is next year.
I'll fix it. That's too bad.
Doesn't want it.
Have to remember that. Have to remember that for tomorrow night. There we go. There he is. Worth it.
Look at him. He's going to be so fucking good.
It's going to be interesting.
Like, it's been a long time since we've had like someone that's projected a first overall where like you're legitimately watching them play. It's like there's no hole. Like there's nothing that's gonna, like he does literally everything. Like he's fucking unbelievable. It's so weird to me that there have been times this year where people are like shitting on the upside. I'm like, what the fuck are you watching? The kid just like ripped apart the NCAA. It broke like several records. I don't know. Like he's the best player in college hockey as a freshman. 2-way game, one of the best shots of the draft. Like, ridiculous offensive upside. Again, 2-way game, super physical, like plays like. I don't understand how there was anyone that was like, oh, this isn't that exciting. Like, what the fuck are you watching? But whatever, you know? It's all right. So it's next year.
What do you think he means by literally?
Yeah.
We've got Luke Davidson. Greetings. What range do you have Zetterberg landing? I've heard 40 to 76. He's also a top 10 sleeper pick. I'm convinced he's a steal. I know, Z, this is someone you talked about a while ago, but this is your turf for scouting. Sweden, take it.
He is ridiculous. And this is one of the very few prospects where even I, as someone who really hates like people being like, oh, you need to go get size. The size for him is such a fucking problem. I think he's like 5'7", like 100 and maybe 35.
Well, what if he just goes and gets measured by Demidov's guys?
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. Like he is tiny, but like legit the playmaking ability with this kid, like it's easy top 10 playmaker in this draft. Like everywhere he goes, whether it's the J20, he ripped apart that league as their best center. And then when he goes and plays for Team Sweden, he's averaging like 1.5, 2 points per game. But like the skill, the passing, and just like how smart he is in the offensive zone, like elite level vision, elite playmaking. It's just the fact that like he's gonna get killed. Like I think he'll get probably closer to 76 than 40, like for sure. But in terms of just raw playmaking ability, like this again, the skill division, the passing, like he's one of the most fun players to watch. Like it, and I would say, yeah, sure, top 10 sleeper pick, absolutely. Like just given the ability and what he can do with the puck and the plays that he makes. Like I should have went back and actually did a Zetterberg highlight tape, but like this guy probably go like late third or maybe.
Dare I ask if you did the Yzerman or Hellenius highlight tape?
I didn't finish it, but I have them.
Nice.
Again, the Yzerman one's so funny.
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah. I don't know. I fucking hate when you do this little bullshit.
Well, you can't sit here and talk about the highlight reels that you wish you would have done.
No, absolutely I can. I wish I did do them all.
That's
a fact.
There it is. We got Gun-Toting Granny joining late. Hey guys, man, that awards show sucked. Granny, I'm blaming you for choosing that.
Remember they had the fucking magician, and he actually he did the card reveal. It like ended up being Kopitar with a Selkie, and he fucked it up. So the cards are in the wrong place.
I don't remember that. I'm gonna be honest. I don't remember that.
Like, this is literally the worst league on the fucking planet. I hate this league so much. Best sport, dumbest fucking league. They fucked it up. I think it was 2019 because that's when Keenan Thompson was making fun of the Lightning, and they were pissed off about it in the front row.
They were
like the year they choked. Yeah, it was that year. Like, just go watch the Kopitar Selkie card trick thing, and he fucked it up. It's so funny. He's like, oh fuck, sorry.
Wow.
It was really good.
All right, that's fun. Nice. Any final thoughts then for any of our listeners for the Wild draft pick? We've been pretty clear, unless one of the big defensemen falls, we want to go forward. Like, give your final pitch here. Like, who are the guys that you think are realistic or possible to hit 13, and why you would pick them? And then we'll end.
Yeah, I mean the same guy as usual. Bronstein, Igor, we know that they actually do like him a ton. Fits what they're looking for. Cole Yzerman is what it is with him. It's weird that it could get backlash for the best goal scorer of the draft, but you know what? Whatever. But like I think you'll probably sit if you're looking at the defenseman, like I wouldn't. There's no way it happens, but if like the only guy that I would be like, oh shit, okay, how do you not take this guy? If the kid like if NHL teams were afraid of taking Zane Parekh in the top 10,
sure,
you get your right shot, legit power play quarterback Given, I mean, I'm not really worried about the defensive stuff with him anyways. But I don't know. Those are like the two forwards though. That would be not surprise me at all. I would keep an eye on a guy like Trevor Connolly too. You're going to get backlash no matter where you take him because the off ice stuff that people don't really know anything about. But like,
well,
he's a top 5 skill.
That was my biggest surprise when you sent me your big board. So you would take Trevor Connolly over Cole Eisman?
Probably. I don't know. Those three, what was it? Those 3 or 4 that I had, I was like, I could do this in any order. And it's just like, again, I looked at the Eisman thing and I was like, who the fuck is going to give him the puck? That's the thing with him. It's just like, he can't drive offense. He might always need someone on the ice with him that's like a top playmaking forward. I don't know. But it was like him, Greentree, and Connolly I had like right next to each other. And I was like, I could have put these 3, specifically those 3 in any order. And then I think I had Bronzek Nygård right under them.
Okay, but so you get one of those 3. Which one do you want?
That's not an answer.
Well, but like you are up. You are Judd Brackett and Bill Guerin. Those are the only 3 players you get to pick from. The clock has run out. We are passing and deferring this pick to the Buffalo Sabres.
Great. Okay. Greentree. I don't fucking care. I hated that.
All right. I take it you've had your fill. We done?
I think so. God, in 24 hours.
It's gonna be a long one.
I think I'm more scared than excited now because it's gonna be a Friday.
Yeah, but then you'll have a couple drinks. You won't be scared anymore.
That's what I'm scared of. It's gonna be great. Oh, whatever. We'll be live for a very long time. It's gonna be interesting.
As always. Oh, you missed this when you went AWOL the first time. Apparently, a bunch of the 10K guys are going to join us for the Wild pick from the golf course on one phone. So that can only go well.
That's a good idea. That's going to go well.
Yeah, it's going to go extremely well. We're here for it.
Hell yeah.
All right. I guess you're not going to say goodbye to anyone.
I was just reading. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll see everyone literally in 24 hours. This will, in theory, drop before.
It's supposed to. It's supposed to.
It is the plan. And then, it's going to be a long one tomorrow. We'll see you there.
See everyone Friday night. Let's go.